Hey team, welcome back. So right now we are submitting our project tasks successfully, but we still have ways to go. We still have to handle the errors in the form, and then we still have to display the project tasks properly. Well, we'll one step at a time. Now, right now, before we even start coding, I want to bring you back to let's say unwanted behavior. I don't think it's a bug per se, but it's unwanted behavior for sure, which is that if I come and try and create a new project task and I try and submit bad data, I obviously get the error, and this error goes onto our state. But then I actually create a good one, I actually created with good data, and that's all well and good. Now, the problem with this is that the errors, at least on the prototype that I have on the cloud, the errors stay in the state until I refresh, and that is not good. Okay, so now we're gonna start handling the errors, and I just want to give you a heads up that I'm gonna let it happen for now. We're gonna make sure that it actually happens so we can replicate that, and then of course we're gonna fix it, because I think we already fixed this on at the create project level and update project level. Now we're gonna do it for the update and create project task. But for now, we're just gonna start working with our errors. And actually, you know what? I changed my mind. We're just gonna go straight into fixing this, because I just realized that we still don't have the update form. Remember, what happens with the update form, and the reason why that comes up on the update form and not on the add project task form, is because the update form takes the next props, right? And it takes things that are in the state. And when we load whatever we're going to update in the state, if we don't wipe out the errors stay there as well. And that's why it comes in the state, just for them to display. It doesn't hurt anything, right? But it displays and it doesn't make sense. That's all that happens, right? So I just wanted to tell you this, and because I think I changed my mind. We're gonna take care of that right now. And but the first thing that we need to do is we need to wire up or update our backlog action. And right now we're in backlogactions.js, and we are on that add project action. And we need to update this action so that we can actually extract the errors from the state and actually use our errors reducer. So for this, we're going to use that try catch block that we have used in the past. And we're going to copy and paste this, put inside of the try here. Perfect. I like just putting this to error. And then here, all I am going to do is I'm going to say dispatch. And you know what? I'm actually going to do the same thing I did in the project action. So I'm literally going to copy and paste it. And it is actually this piece of code right here. And all we're saying is that, hey, everything went well. So whatever errors you might have had there from previous attempts when I was actually passing bad data, you can get rid of those. We don't need them anymore. All right? And that's going to prevent that ugly behavior that I have on my prototype. Okay, cool. And then we can literally copy and paste this, paste it here, and then the payload is going to be obviously error and the response data. And with this in place, we should at least see this in our state. Don't worry about this, because all we need to do now is basically import this. Let me close that. No, actually here, project items, project actions, and I just need to import this from the types, and I'm going to delete this. And for now, we're just working with the errors, so let's just have for now the imports that we need, and the error's gone. Okay, so take a quick look here. This is what you need to do to finish wiring up your add project action, which is this right here. Okay. Try catch, clear up errors if everything goes well, load errors if there's a problem. So with this in place, I'm gonna stop my server and run it again, and then we're going to try and submit a bad project task item. And then, although the errors are not going to be displayed here, we should see them in our Redux store. Okay, so if we come to Redux here, and we come to state, then our error subject is obviously empty. But if we try to submit bad data, then here we have what we wired up in our server which is that the summary cannot be blank. All right. So with that in place, then now we need to extract this from the state, obviously, and then display it on our UI. And I know, again, you guys know what to do. You guys know what to do. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to check here, well, actually, I can literally come out of here because we don't need to be here anymore, here and here. Okay, so we have our errors object, which is blank, which is empty. So let's go all the way down, and then first let's wire up a few things that we need to have in place before we actually display our errors. The first one is going to be to map our state to props. Map state to props. Okay, and we take a state, the state as the parameter here. This is an arrow function, and then we set up an object here, and right now it's going to be errors. The errors are coming from the state. Okay, error state errors, and then of course you need to map the state to props right here, so this works perfect. Now in the prop types, same thing. Our errors object, errors, is a prop type of type object, and it is required. Okay, good. Okay, with this in place, then we need to use the lifecycle hook that we used before, which is component will receive props. All right, and we're gonna put it right under the constructor, and it's going to be component will receive props, basically because then we have new props whenever we try to submit a bat form and there are errors in the state, then we have new props that we need to receive, and those are called next props. And those those next props we need to use to set the state of our errors object right here, to set the updated states state. If next props dot errors, then this dot set state, our errors object in the state, we're gonna fill it up with next props dot errors. Okay, so with this in place, all that's left to do here in this in what seems to be rapidly becoming a quick lecture, is to come to the, to the input field for the summary, which is the only one that has a check here, and then we're going to start wiring up class names, which by the way we already imported. Okay, right here, import class names from class names. Okay, so wrap it in parentheses, wrap it in curly braces, put class names here right in front of it all. Then here we're gonna put a comma right here, right after the class. Okay, and then we're gonna put curly braces, and then what we're gonna tell is that it's invalid. It's invalid. We're gonna add the is invalid class, and this is the syntax here. We're adding this invalid class to here if there are errors in the summary. Okay, and then last but not least, we're going to display what those errors are. So again, this is class names syntax, errors.summary. If we have errors.summary, if we have summary errors, then parentheses here, and then we're going to do a div with the class invalid feedback, and this is emit, and then we're going to display those errors. All stuff that you guys have actually done in the past. So if anything, you guys should be like, I'm all done. Are you still typing? That's what I'm expecting you guys to be saying right now. And I'm also expecting that you guys are like, hey, so you missed that again in the steps? I'm actually expecting you guys to be annoyed at me right now, because remember, we need to use this structuring to bring the errors out of the state. Okay, so that we can actually, within the render function, access them here. All right, cool. So I know that you guys are already like, wow, like, you know, moving way faster than I am. And now if we try and submit bad data, everything works great. All right, so we have completed the cycle of adding a project task, I think that the next thing we want to do, of course, is to then start displaying them, because we need to display them so then we can update them and delete them. All right, so I'll see you in the next one.